What's your message? Ladies and gentlemen, what's your message? You know, life and your path, your direction, it becomes much easier when you know where you're walking. And your message helps determine that. And it really makes it easier to plan your days, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Having a message makes walking the path of life fun, fulfilling, and it makes you feel like you're never second guessing yourself as you do it. And this only recently clicked for me. This is why I bring it up, is what is your message? You know, this follower count on social media, this whole thing, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all, to be honest. Like on a technical level, but also just philosophically. First, on a technical level, that stuff is all going away, right? The whole influencer stuff is gone. You make stuff, and if it speaks to people, it does well. Done. I can't tell you how many memes I've sent to my friends, and they've sent it back to me. And I don't know. I've never followed the account. I laugh and I scroll. I move on. Why? Because it's funny, but there's no message. But this isn't about social media or any of that stuff. It's really not about that. It's about how I don't know, things just clicked for me with how I'm spending my time and what I'm doing when I sat down and I tried to figure out what my message is and understand what it is and what am I really trying to do while I'm here. And again, follower count has nothing to do with it. This is not something I ever thought about 5-6 years ago as a comedian. 5 years ago, 6 years ago as a comedian, all I thought about was getting funnier every day. And then things change, with the times. And it's not a rant. It's not me being upset. It's just, social media has become very important. And for a time, that's what I was focused on. How do I get more people to follow me? But that doesn't really matter. That stuff doesn't matter at the end of the day. Because is it really affecting people or helping people? Maybe. Maybe not. I can tell you personally, it's like, I know I've had videos with like 3 million views on some of my other channels or things I've worked on, million views, whatever. And it's okay, it's great. But, I made a video here the other day, it probably has 200 views. This account has like 400 followers, less than 500 people following it, which is fine. But what was really important is I made a video and a high schooler, he had commented, he reached out and he went, I've been having a really tough time in school, man, and I've just been feeling unmotivated. And this really helped me continue and keep going and continue to just work in school. That felt amazing, from my end. It felt great knowing I helped some kid who is figuring shit out. I remember how it was when I was in high school. Man, I was chubby Steven, man. This jawline, it wasn't what it was. It was chubby Steven back then. I wasn't having the best time. I didn't learn the art of mewing. If you don't know what mewing is, look it up. No, that's not how I did it. I just lost weight. I didn't get on my Sigma grind set, no. But it felt good knowing I had helped someone that way. And it's because, a couple months ago, I really sat down and I tried to figure out what am I really doing with my time and what am I trying to do, like with my content. And it really boiled down to this, with any of my art, content, whatever I'm doing, is I'm here to really help make people laugh think, or feel inspired. Anything I'm making, that's what I want to help people with. Make them laugh, think, or feel inspired and help them in some sort of way. So now, if I don't feel like anything I'm making does that, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna make it. You know. And that's my message, and that's something that I sat down, and it's made it easier for me whenever I'm thinking about what I'm doing and what I'm making. And it's because I kind of walk with that, I don't call it moral, walk with that compass. And I always know where north faces. And again, it's got nothing to do with who's watching the video or what shows I'm doing or money or any of that stuff, because it doesn't matter. As they say, you can't take it with you. But I encourage you all to go on the inward journey of understanding and figuring out what your message is, because it brings peace to your life and it helps you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. So that was my message I wanted to talk about today. Is find your message and spread that. What's your message?